Yay Media Group.
Even at DBL, we'd have publicists on before.
You did?
Oh, yeah. And he'd be like, oh, yeah, Tom Sandoval from Vanderpump Rules is up next. Don't ask him about the cheating scandal. Well, then what the hell is he on here for?
Hey, guys, episode 168. I'm Ty-Ty.
You're Ty-Ty? We're doing another late night episode.
This is another late night episode. We are just woo all over the place. We just left the car dealership and we didn't find anything. I mean, we're not getting anything right yet, but there's no cars. The guy told me that people just aren't trading in cars because we always get used cars. I was like, this is it? And he's like, yeah, this is what we got. So slim picking, but we're going to keep looking.
Yeah, I hate
just the whole thing, the process.
I'm not a car guy.
You never have been.
No.
When I met, I know I shared these stories. When I met Jeff on Big Brother, and then I go to Chicago the first time, and you picked me up in that Camry with the missing hubcaps.
Yeah, I don't care.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
No, it just makes me laugh because I'm like, really? Like you didn't even think to put hubcaps on your car?
I put some fake ones on there and they fell off. I used to get off like on the road and be like, oh man, my hubcap, and run and get it and just snap it back on.
But every car, then the next car you had, we were riding on fumes to CarMax to sell it when we were coming here to Colorado. And then now this one.
Demolished. Yeah, we talked about it last time. But the
so
car
funny.
sales process, I just feel like I'm getting got when I'm in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just like, all right, this guy's taking me to the cleaners, and I'm just like, man, I need a car. I just need something to get me from A to B. I don't care what it is. You're a little more, I'm not starting a fight here, a little more, you could fill in the blank there. What's the word?
No, my car is like 9 years old. What are you talking about?
It looks nice.
I like just like SUVs just because with the kids and normally I end up having their friends in the car. And I never thought about that whenever when we had your car, we used to drive it. It was so small. And I remember, I don't even know why I'm laughing. I just feel so delirious. Remember I'd pick you up over at 9 News and then I would have Leighton in the snapping car seat faced rear facing.
Yeah.
And then your seat would automatically go back and the seat would push back. And then Lawson had his big Nuna car seat. If you're a parent, you know what I'm talking about. And then we would go to Costco and we were shoving things in, trying to get them to fit in your tiny little car. And then we'd have to go back to our apartment and then we'd have to get the Bell cart, unload it, then go to the parking garage, drive up. Oh my gosh. Like I do not miss those days at all. Like
I know.
with the kids. That was like so much work. But the whole process, it's just annoying. I think right now, I just want to go to Chicago, do the celebration of life. And then after that's over, then we can focus on the car.
Yeah. So you guys are hearing this on Monday. Technically, we just got back from Chicago. So it's going to be a rough weekend going forward. We'll let you guys know how everything went on Wednesday. I mean, we're not going to share all the details, but I'm looking forward to going back to Chicago, but it's going to be very emotional again. So I don't know what to expect. It just, all the emotions come back. It's almost like a scary feeling because I'm still kind of like, I don't know, like I'm going to wake up at some time. Yeah. It's going to be weird going back to the house and it's just going to be different. That's all.
I was thinking about the boys. I was like, how are they going to be?
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, we won't dwell on that. I know you guys are tired of hearing that, but that's kind of what's going on in our life right now. And yeah, getting back to the car thing, I don't know what, to get a decent car, it's like super expensive, and I don't want a car payment on top of everything else that's going on. It's just like, yeah, we don't want to be downers. We're going to get up. We're going to get back on the positive train.
We had a good convo. We're going to make Sam come here. Jeff's old co-host, Sam. She's going to come over one night. I love Sam, by the way. And we're going to make her come on here and we're going to talk because she's an LA girl. She's a dreamer. And yeah, I think you two need a reconnect.
Yeah, well, Jordan's not really filling in the blanks there. So the reason why she said that, we keep in touch with Sam and the other people from the DBL cast, but Sam works over at 9 News, the old place that I worked at, which is owned by a company called Tegna, and I work now at the Fox station. My show is actually on the CW, but that's the Fox affiliate where I work, and they're owned by a company called Nexstar. So those two, if you guys haven't heard the news or don't know this world at all, I know very limited when it comes to the business side of things and how things are done. And I think everyone's kind of in the dark, but Nexstar just bought Tegna, and Tegna was the stations that we were on all over the country when we were on DBL. Now Nexstar bought that whole company. So that's what's going on right now in that world. So Sam was texting us right now saying, hey, have you heard any news of what's happening with that merger? So nobody knows at my work or Tegna or Nexstar. So I don't want to elaborate because I really don't know anything of what's going on. So it's just, Sam's just looking for information. She's an anchor on the news over there. I host a lifestyle show where I'm at. So the future for both of us is still kind of like, oh man, what are they going to do? Are they going to merge shows? Because Tegna, or I should say 9 News, it's KUSA, has a lifestyle show that we compete with. And Tori, our old co-host at DBL, now hosts that show. So she just got that job and she's very excited about that.
But that makes me sad because I'm like, oh my gosh.
Well, there's nothing to be sad about because everything now is speculation. And I don't want to talk out of school because I don't even know what I'm talking about. But that's kind of what's going on. So Sam's nervous because she just went through the whole thing, and all of us kind of losing our job at the same time was very scary, as you guys know. So now Sam is worried that she might lose her job or what's next for the stations as a whole. Again, we know nothing. I don't want to talk out of school about anything. The deal's not even going to happen if it does go through till next year. But we were talking just via text because we haven't seen each other in a minute, because we both have very busy lives and families. But we're like, we need to get together just like old school LA, have some drinks, stay up late, and just talk about dreams and what we could put together. Because at this point in this business, at least for us, not everybody, you need to make things work on your own. You need to be doing side hustles like a podcast, something else. I got to get back to doing my auditions and things like that, because that's something that you can control, and you can't really worry about things that you can't control. So I'm getting my mind back. I'm getting it right. I might be knocked down a peg after I get back this weekend because I'll be foggy again. But I know where my mind needs to go. I know where I need to go. And I think I need to get back with people to inspire me, and maybe I can inspire them. And we could get back to that old dream state. Call Alex Boylan, my old buddy, get him on the horn. He's always up for a dreaming sesh, and he's always got something. Our buddy Shane. So we got a bunch of buddies that I got a ton of buddies that I could call and lean on, but specifically a few that are in the business that like to dream, and I need to get back to that.
You have good friends. Like, your friend the other day texted you and was like, there's this job opening with this over at Fox, but it's in another state, but they're lookout for you. And Sam is, if you never saw Daily Blast Live, Sam is so good at what she does. She doesn't even belong on doesn't belong on a local show. I keep saying, I'm like, she belongs on a national show like GMA, Today Show. She's so professional. She's so good. And I keep saying, just like y'all are like, oh, Jeff can do something in interviewing. I have been saying since DBL's been canceled, I'm like, Jeff, you and Sam together are so good, and they already have the chemistry built in. I was like, you guys would take off. You're so quick on your feet, and you have that wit. Sam is just so smart. Like, y'all are meant for it, and y'all could do so good. I just was watching TV here, and some show that they have these hosts, the people that they're hiring to do these shows now, I'm like, they're not even experienced hosts. They're just putting them on.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, we kind of talk about the same thing, but we're kind of like running in a hamster wheel over here. So sorry if we keep repeating ourselves, but that's just what's going on. But at least I'm getting out of the fog a little bit. It definitely takes time. I don't even have answers for myself. But as far as business goes, when everything's coming down and you lose your job. And right now I'm at this job, which again, I love. And, you just got to start dreaming bigger. Your car's going to break. Your washing machine's going to break down. Your water heater's going to go. The kids are going to have an accident, God forbid. There's always something going on. You know what I mean? Whether it's a hospital bill or something going on like that, there's always going to be life. And you got to take that, I guess that's part of life. I don't even know what I'm saying, but you got to take that and move forward because life's always going to happen. And you can't always point the finger at somebody else and say, this is why I'm not where I want to be, or I can't believe this is happening, or, oh my gosh. Because if you keep saying that and perpetuating negativity, that's what you're going to find is negativity. So I got to get back on the positive train, start dreaming, start thinking positive, start being creative, start making my own path again like I used to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that makes me happy because that is the Jeff I know. And that's how you are. And I think if you get back with dreamers, you will dream again. That's why I want
and
you and Sam.
And television is kind of going away a little bit. A lot of people.
Quality.
Well, I don't know. Again, that side of the business, I don't know. It might be on my end. It's the quality. That's what I think it is. But I don't know if that's the answer. It's just my blurred perspective of what's going on. But that's what I think it is. But there's so many platforms like streamers that there's so much content now that networks need. And that's where networks are going to, like the streaming side of things. So you could compete with those platforms like Netflix, like the Tubies, like YouTube. I mean, I could go on for days. So these networks need a platform and they're always looking for content because you got to fill all that content. So whether we do something.
You're talking about for apps, like for Fox 31 app.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I do another show that's over at Fox that's called Weekend Vibe. And it's a great show. We tell you what's going on here in Denver. Unless you lived in Denver, you probably wouldn't like it. But we film in a bigger studio. It's filmed on like all different cameras. We have different angles. It feels like Entertainment Tonight. It's what we're doing.
Is it just you or
it's
is it
me
you
and
Denise?
Yeah, it's me and Denise.
Okay.
Yeah. So we host that together and we give you your weekend itinerary for everything that's going on in Denver. So it's a really fast-paced show, a lot of information and everything that's going on from art shows to wine festivals to beer fests, everything that's happened locally here in Denver.
I didn't even know you did that.
Yeah.
Good job, love.
That's the show I host on Wednesday. Yeah, it's great, but you could only watch it. It used to be on Fox. It used to be on air. And a lot of people, too, get confused when I say Fox. They think of like Fox versus CNN. You know what I'm saying? Like that Fox News. That's not Fox. I understand it's the same company.
You're Fox Denver.
Right. It's not Fox News. We're not talking about Trump all the time. It's still news. It's still, they're trying to be impartial and they give the news, just like 9 News. But I think they both lean, I think every news station leans one side, even though they're trying to be journalists and be impartial.
But you like Fox Denver because you said it's like very relaxed and chill.
I have a small little crew that I work with and they're awesome. We always just laugh and talk about funny things and they're a little bit younger. So we just have interesting conversations as the day goes on once our show is done and we're writing scripts. So we have a really good dynamic. So we're in our own like little bubble, but then there's a downstairs where all the news goes on. That's where we film our shows, you know? And the news people are always cracking jokes and funny when I go down there. It's a laid back atmosphere.
Yeah.
You know, I like the atmosphere that I work in. So I want to progress with the company. I want to do more with the company and and I think there's room to grow, you know, but it's up to me to create those shows. And I pitched a couple ideas to them already. And then maybe those will get off the ground. Maybe they'll put them on air. Maybe they'll put them on the network. Maybe I create something myself and do my own thing. But I got to start. Nothing's going to come to me. I have to go get it.
Yeah. But that's life.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I lost that for a second and it's still not 100% back, but at least I know the direction I need to go. And if things aren't working out, it's my own fault, you know? And then maybe I got to think of a career path, but a different career path. But I still want to keep doing what I'm doing. We're going a little long. Let's take a break and we'll come back and continue. I've been drinking AG1 every single day. A lot has happened in my life and our lives, but that is something I've done daily for years now.
I love AG1. I use it for energy, for gut health. I always do 4 ounces, 1 scoop, and then vitamin D3, K2. shake it up, and you're good to go.
Just one scoop contains your multivitamins, pre and probiotics, superfoods, and antioxidants in one daily habit. Supports energy, improves digestion and gut health, fills nutritional gaps in your diet, and it supports immune health. All the reasons and more why we love AG1.
Both of us are super excited about AG1. They came out with a variety of new flavors. We just got some in the mail, so I'm excited to try the citrus.
I'm trying to improve daily, and AG1 is constantly improving, and that's why we've been partnered with AG1 for so long.
AG1 is your daily health drink that got a lot more flavorful.
That's right. With citrus, berry, and tropical flavors, there's no excuse not to drink AG1. They're constantly improving. Go to our link, drinkag1.com/togetherness. You'll get a free welcome kit worth $76 when you subscribe, including 5 AG1 travel packs, a shaker, canister, and a scooper. That's drinkag1.com/togetherness to try out those new flavors and get a free welcome kit.
Okay, welcome back. Sorry, I didn't realize you're taking your drink.
I always take a sip between. I always take a sip like between breaks and then right before we start.
Well, the app, they're looking for shows for the app. Maybe that's something you and Sam could do because now y'all are all going to be one.
Well, I'm using that as I'm using that as like a talking point. Every station, I'm assuming, I know 9 News, this is all I'm familiar with here in Denver, but I'm assuming stations across the country are doing the exact same thing because that's what they do. Everyone needs streaming content. Everyone needs more content. I know TV's going away, but they want more content because that's the new TV is apps. You pop on your TV, you pop on Fox, you pop on Netflix, you pop on Paramount Plus, you pop on whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's where television is going. A lot of people are cutting the cable cord.
That's what I do. My dad, I told him to leave his YouTube TV logged in, and I'm watching his YouTube TV, and he goes, try it. Just see if it's something you like. And so I practice with it, or I can see the shows that he watched, and I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where it's going. And I think even now, there'll be moving forward, I think there'll be more podcast-like shows, not so polished and podcast-type shows on those apps.
Really?
That's what I think. That's where I think it's going.
On a streaming?
Yeah.
Like on a Netflix?
Because it's cheap. You're getting real content, right? You're your own producer, unless you're on a network that doesn't want you to talk about certain things. People are watching more YouTube now, more podcasts, because they're getting honest answers. You know, the journalistic,
they're not censored by the networks.
And there's not, when you try to do something, there's not 10 people on an email chain that need to chime in and justify their job and be like, oh yeah, you should do this. Who is that? I didn't even know who that is. On podcasts and all, you eliminate all that and people talk what they want to talk about, and they have on guests that they are interested in, and they call the shots. They're their own producer. And that, I think, is the way things are going to go, at least in my mind. Again, I don't know, obviously, everything about television because I'm not in the place of success that I'd like to be, but I think that's where it's going. I think it's way cheaper to film. You pop a camera on, you could do things. People love to be, a fly on the wall of other people's conversations. And even stars like that you grew up with that don't work a lot anymore, they all have their own podcast. They're all trying to make their own content. Whether it's stars on 90210. I mean, I'm just thinking of Jenny Garth, I think, has one.
Because you want to hear about, if you were a huge fan of, let's say, 90210.
Or Saved by the Bell or whatever.
You want to hear the behind the scenes story of what went on, who was dating who, because you were a fan of that. I know I do that.
And then if you're not a huge star, you don't have a publicist with you, right? So if you're a huge star, usually you have a publicist with you. Like, say I was interviewing, I don't know, just whoever famous. They usually have a publicist there. And they definitely tell you, you are not allowed to talk about this. And the thing that they tell you you're not allowed to talk about is the one question that you really want to answer. And I'm not saying I'm on to dig into people's lives or their past or bring up bad things, but sometimes you got to face those questions. And if you have a publicist with you from the network that's telling you what to say and you're their little puppet, that's not real. You know what I mean? You want someone, your famous star, to sit down with one of their friends and be like, let me explain my side of the story to whatever's going on. This is how it really went down. We have such a misconstrued idea of who everybody is in the public eye because there's such a slant on them, whether it's a political slant or a slur that they said in the past or whatever it is. People have these blinders on of who everybody is, and that's not who they are. And the network and TV just keeps perpetuating hate, and they keep perpetuating one side of politics. People are so over that. At least I am. You know, I just want to talk. I want to sit down and have an honest conversation with those people and be like, all right, what happened? I'm not here to grill you. What happened? Did you learn from that? How long ago was that? Let's move forward. What are your plans for the future? You know, how's your family life? How did you get started in this business? Those are things that I like to talk about, you know?
I feel like, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like Oprah was that person that back then.
I think she was the creator of that type of.
Because she could get people to come on her show, open up, and like get in there deep, whether it be celebrities or even just somebody who wasn't a Tom Cruise, maybe somebody who wasn't as famous, but she really got people to open up. I remember in high school watching her because I liked the people she had on, and I was in high school and I was intrigued by it. But I feel like now what you're saying, you don't get that as much because it's whatever the network wants to, the agenda that they're trying to
Right. So they're
push.
protecting their stars, right? But then if you're going on Oprah, that's like an up. That's like a get. So the network, I don't even know how it worked back, but they're not like saying, hey, Oprah, you can't talk about this. Oprah would be like, well, then they're not coming on.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I want them.
Yeah.
So don't tell me I can't talk about that. Now it's the opposite. You're getting interviewed by someone, even at DBL, we'd have publicists on before.
You did?
Oh, yeah. And he'd be like, oh, yeah, I'm using it as an example because I don't want to call anybody out, but you have Tom Sandoval from Vanderpump Rules is up next. Don't ask him about the cheating scandal. Well, then what the hell is he on here for?
Okay, wait.
Do you know what I mean?
So what if, because maybe this has happened before, giving an example, what if you never did this, but what if you didn't listen to the publicist and you were like, hey, what about that cheating scandal? Then what happens?
I'm sure that happens. They could drop the interview. They could jump in and cut it if they want. Like they could make it go black.
Oh, because it wasn't live.
Well, we're live on DBL. They can make it go black. Or if they can't, the publicist company would never work with us again. So they'd be like, any stars that are under our roster, you're never touching. And then we'd never get any of their people. Because that was good for our show. Even though we were promoting whatever they wanted to promote, all the time someone had stipulations. Again, someone has to say something to justify their job. They just can't be like, hey, sounds good. You're going on Daily Blast Live next. If they ask you about that, you know, handle it. You know,
was there ever any interview that you did that you felt kind of nervous because there might have been a list of things that you couldn't talk about or bring up?
No, but there was definitely a couple where I'm like, what are we talking to them for? Like the person wasn't even that interesting. I mean, you might know their names, but they weren't interesting. I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, I don't care what you have to say.
Right.
If you're not going to talk about that and you're not going to be honest, how are we going to get an honest answer out of you? Everything coming out of your mouth is bullshit. Someone wrote down what you're going to say, and nothing. We're not going to get any moment or soundbite out of you, and that's the only reason you're here.
And then that makes the interview boring.
It sucks, and everyone's like, "Oh, that interview sucked." Yeah, because we weren't allowed to ask those questions. You know,
was there anybody that you were allowed to really ask like a good question that they were okay? I'll answer it, or was everybody always like, no?
No, the best interviews were people that I don't know if I want to go there that would bring it up on their own.
Oh,
and just
so
like,
you didn't have to.
Yeah, and they'd be like, hey, this is how I handled this. You know, I had my past. Everyone has their past, blah, blah, blah. XYZ happened to me. And you're like, oh, and then you feel like, wow, they opened up a little bit. Thanks for telling. You don't keep harping on that issue. Like, what's that girl who interviewed that lady? Hoda Kotb, you interviewed. Remember when she was on R. Kelly or whatever? I don't know why that popped in my head.
Oh, I
remember when she's like, Robert, sit down.
No, I don't know.
Remember, you don't remember that R. Kelly interview when he went crazy?
No.
And I think it was Hoda that did that. Was it Hoda? Maybe it wasn't. I thought it was.
You mean like Kathy Lee and Hoda?
I thought it was Hoda. Who was that who did the interview? And she's like, Robert to R. Kelly. She's like, sit down. And he got like out of his chair.
Sawyer?
No, it wasn't Diane Sawyer.
What about Barbara Walters?
No, it wasn't Barbara Walters. It was only, I mean, he's in jail now, so it was a couple of years ago.
Barbara Walters would get people, pull stuff out of them too. She made Britney Spears cry.
Yeah, she would go there. Well,
but you could back then.
You could. And she took it, And then that was controversial. Did she go too far?
But she was old school.
She was old school journalist. But things constantly change. You know what I mean? They're always changing. I think politics have been always an issue. Maybe not this divisive or divisive. I still don't know which one's which. But I think these things were always an issue. And we grow as a people, and we have to be able to look back at a certain time period and say, those were just the times. I understand it wasn't great for everybody, but look how far we've come to 2025, where we're at right now. You have to look at that and appreciate the growth that we've had in the country for people. Anyone could be anything they want. There is no more discrimination in my mind. You could, if you're of a different race or ethnicity or sexuality, you could disagree with me. I don't think that's the case anymore in my mind, but I'm coming at it from a different point of view. And I'd love to hear your point of view on the situation. Why do you feel like that? And why do you feel you don't have the exact same opportunities, if more, than I do? You know, those are things that I like to talk about. I'm not interviewing people. And again, on our show, we barely have any celebrities. It's a lot of lifestyle stuff, and it's
it's local.
Gotcha show anyway.
Yeah.
And I never was that guy. Even when I did Big Brother interviews, I want to help those house guests. I want to be
saying the got you like interview like that and being nice and respectful. I remember when I first got off Big Brother. This is before. This is when people could say whatever to you on an interview, and I've never shared this before. There were, and you were the only one.
Yeah.
You were the only one that knows this.
Yeah.
Well, my mom knows, and but they were very inappropriate. These two people that I talked to on a show, and I got so pissed off.
You should have had somebody.
Don't go in detail.
But you should have had somebody on that call with you. But again, 16 years ago, that was a different time. You won. Here's your check. Have fun in the real world.
And it was on air. So people heard it. There was no going back. And what they said to me was extremely rude and inappropriate. And I remember looking at my mom and my mom's face too. And because she was in the room with me when this interview was going on. And I just wanted to break down and cry. And I didn't say anything. And I just did my laugh it off, like, oh, I don't care. Okay, thank you. And when I got off that interview and everybody left my room, I looked at my mom and we had a conversation about what happened. And I'm not going into what it was about, but after that, Jeff always
bothers
knew.
You bring it up a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying in the bad way. I know it bothers you is what I'm saying.
After that interview, this was like when we were relevant and people still want to do interviews. Anybody that wrote me that would say, hey, do you want to do an interview? So if anybody out there is listening to this and they're like, she never wrote me back, she's a bitch. I never would do another interview after that unless I knew the person because of what those people said to me on air. And it was embarrassing.
But that was, again, 16 years ago, that was like the Howard Stern days, the shock jock days. They wanted to get that sound bite. You know what I mean? That would embarrass you and everyone would laugh kind of at your expense. Yeah. You know?
But I remember just that feeling, like my stomach, like my heart dropped and I felt sick to my stomach. And I'll never forget looking over at my mom, and my mom just looked at me, and because she knew, and I was just like, I wanted to jump through that phone and punch these two people in the face. I was so mad. And because at that time I was 22, I had no kids, I had nothing to lose. I could be trashy. Now I have to keep my mouth shut. But I told Jeff, I said, if what they said to me now, with the way cancel culture and the way everything is, they would have been fired.
Yeah, they'd be in trouble.
They would be in big trouble.
Yeah.
But
But again, things have come a long way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the time, nobody blinked an eye over that. Do you see what I'm saying?
No one blinked an eye.
Right. And now it's like completely the other way. Just like you said. Now it's like, how dare you ask that question to a woman in this position?
If somebody said that to me, what they said to me Now, being a 38-year-old.
Yeah, but now you know how to respond.
I would have flipped off.
Yeah.
I would have embarrassed them on air. But at the time, I was a kid. I didn't know anything about television. I didn't know anything what was going on. And I just was like, ha, 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 like laughing along with it. Now, my reaction would have been different, and I would have embarrassed them, and I would have said things that would have got them in trouble on air where everybody would have heard it live.
Yeah. All right.
I'm getting pissed off
Cool
thinking
off.
about it
Have
right
some
now.
of your McDonald's Coke. And let's relax.
It's diet, guys. I got diet.
Oh, you're drinking diet?
I hate diet, and I'm drinking diet. I'm doing no sugar.
That's why you're all fired up.
I'm cutting out sugar. Yeah, and I have a headache, and then I'm reliving.
All right. Let's take a break. We need a break anyway. Simmer down. We'll simmer down.
Welcome back. I smell like BO, and I need a shower, and I gotta get my kids ready for bed.
Yeah. All right. We'll wrap this up. You know what I wanted to talk about a little bit?
What?
We'll switch subjects. If you're just listening to the podcast, I think this is the first time I'm ever wearing shorts.
Really?
For the podcast. I don't know. Like when I go to the airport, I wear pants. I never ride on an airplane in shorts. And when I do the podcast, I feel the same way, except we're running late on time. It's really hot here in Denver. We just got back from the dealership. I had a long day. So I'm like, let's just jump on the podcast and do the thing. But I don't know why. I like wearing long pants. Like for
so
no, I like not for walk. You know what? I like wearing long pants for like the podcast and airplane rides. Sometimes I never
wear shorts on airplanes because the leather and just other people have been. I always wear like yoga pants or just something comfortable. Today I felt like I've just been out in the sun so much doing yard work that I feel like I'm too tan. So it was so hot, and I was like wearing a long sleeve shirt because I didn't want any more sun on my skin.
I heard this is like completely, I don't know why I thought about this right now, but you never watched The Sopranos, right?
No, I need to. I should, because I like that type of stuff.
Oh my God, it's the best show. I'll rewatch the whole thing with you if you want to start watching it again. But I forgot, I was watching an interview and I forgot who was talking to who. I think it was that guy who I was embarrassed about. His name's Christopher Moltisanti on the show. What's his name? I think it was him.
I don't know.
Or no, maybe it was
name.
the other guy. Maybe it was Steve. I don't listen. It was some guy from Sopranos. You could look it up, and some talk show host. But it has nothing to do with the point of the story. The point of the story is, so the Sopranos got really successful, and real mobsters were like watching the show.
Oh, really?
And somehow James Gandolfini is the star of the show, right? He plays Tony Soprano. And this is a true story. Well, according to whoever they were talking to. So the show started gaining traction, and the phone rang late at night at James Gandolfini's house.
That was the main character.
That was the main character.
Okay.
He was the mob boss.
Okay.
The phone rang at his house. You know, he's playing the character. And he goes, the other guy on the other end of the phone goes, Jimmy. And he's like, yeah. And he goes, you're doing a pretty good job of playing the boss. And he goes, I like your show. And he's like, who is this? And he's like, don't worry about it. He goes, let me just tell you this. Wise guys, they don't wear shorts. And he hung up the phone. And that's what, so some like, maybe mobster called him because Tony Soprano would grill in the backyard, like in his shorts and like Hawaiian shirt. And I guess it was a mobster on the phone. He's like, wise guys don't wear shorts. They always wear pants, and hung up the phone.
In the show, did they change it whenever he was grilling to pants?
You know what? That's a good question. I don't know. I just saw that. You could look it up and see exactly what character from the show and what talk show. But I remember that story. That's not why I wear pants on an airplane. I just think men's legs are gross. But there's an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm about that too. When he's sitting in first class and he's like, your legs are disgusting.
Oh my God.
And I don't know, but that's not the Tony Soprano thing's not why I wear shorts. I don't know. I just feel like you wear pants on an airplane, and like, I don't want.
You know what makes me laugh in North Carolina, so I have a house in Waxhaw, North Carolina. Whenever I lived there, there's a lot of New Yorkers and New Jersey moving there, and you can always tell who they are because they stick out and they're loud. And like when I'd be at the pool, I'm like, oh, they're New Yorkers.
Are you generalizing?
No, I could just
Italians?
tell. I can tell like with just how they look, how they talk, just their mannerism, all that stuff.
Busting chops.
And not being rude. You can just tell. Like, you can tell you're from Chicago.
You can tell you're from the South.
Not as much anymore. So, everybody, it was always funny if somebody, they're like, yeah, I'm going to make this name up. That's John or Timmy. I think he's in the mob. Everybody there thought that somebody was in the mob because they're like, oh, they're from New York.
Oh, they just assume they're from the mob, like a stereotype?
So one guy lived in our neighborhood, and they're like, he owns a construction business up north. I think he's in the mob. And the guy would wear like a gold chain. Because you don't see, now it's totally different. I'm speaking like almost 20 years ago.
Listen, you're not offending anybody. Stop trying to cover up like.
I know, but I'm just saying, it's like 20 years ago in Waxhaw, it's just country people. And you don't see
I get
Italians.
It. It's like my cousin Vinny going down to Mississippi or whatever.
It's like me going to Norwich.
Yeah, I get it. Everyone gets it. You're not offended. Stop trying to cover up. And this isn't a network television show.
It just made me laugh.
Italians don't get offended when you make fun of them.
And then my mom working at the bank. My mom heard everything because it's just like small town. And my mom's like, oh, that's Mr. So-and-so. He comes in. He lives in that big, it looks like a mansion. I don't know if it is a mansion. And they're like, my mom's like, everybody always says he's in the mob. So I'm like, what if he's just a rich businessman from New York and just came down here and just bought a massive house? But because the way he dressed and the way he looked, everything was always like, they're in the mob. I remember telling you that when we were dating.
Yeah, we drove by the house. I remember.
Yeah, you remember that big house? It does look a little mobbish.
It does. You're right. It totally does.
It looks like a total.
And the story fits. It looks like a guy trying to escape New York and get out of like his past.
Uh-huh.
But you ever see My Blue Heaven?
No. There was.
Dude, if you guys, I think I brought it up many podcasts ago. You got to watch My Blue Heaven with Steve Martin and Rick Moranis. I mean, this is, and he plays a mobster that gets relocated because he's with the government. And Rick Moranis is the FBI agent looking after him because he's a government witness. It's hilarious. The best one-liners ever. If you haven't seen My Blue Heaven, go back and give it a watch. It's got to be an 80s movie or early 90s, but so funny.
My brother did call me one time. It was not a couple years ago. I don't know. It might have been like 7 years ago. And he goes, we got some drama in the neighborhood. And I guess the guy was a ex-mob fugitive or something and fled. And I go, how in the hell did he end up in Waxhaw? And my brother goes, honey, I don't even know. I just walked out the door and there were like all these cops surrounding the house and they told me to get back inside.
Your brother's the Perez Hilton of
my brother, I used to joke around. I was like, you're like the mayor of Waxhaw.
No, he's not a mayor. He's a tabloid.
No.
He just gets a piece of information and emails or texts. He doesn't even know how to email. He texts everybody and it's the wrong information.
Remember Allie?
Johnny Depp is here and he got in a plane crash. He's dead. He is? Oh my God. No, that's fake. It's not true at all.
That's like the South. Everything, the news travels quickly and Pete knows everybody. He knows the police
and he wants
officers.
to be the first one to fire off a false text message.
He took me to a bar over there and we were by like the water tower and there's like this big bar. Oh my gosh, everybody. He's like, oh, that person, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's so funny. I mean, it's kind of like here, but it's like the South. It moves pretty quick.
Dude, what was that bar? Was it North Carolina that Mick Jagger was at a couple of years ago, just having a beer by himself?
It was, I want to say it was called the Thirsty Beaver, but I could be wrong. I'm almost positive it's the Thirsty Beaver. I don't know. Y'all have to Google it. I could be wrong, but yeah, he was just down there. And that area. He's
by himself having a beer. Could you imagine walking at a bar and Mick Jagger just said, if I walked in.
I don't think anybody noticed him.
That's what I'm saying. If I walked in a bar and Mick Jagger was right there, I'd be like, that dude looks exactly like Mick Jagger, and just keep walking.
Yeah.
I would, maybe he plays off of that and he's like, no one's going to think it's me, right?
I totally would. That area used to be, nothing was like there. It wasn't like the best area. And now I guess it's like the hip area in Charlotte. It's so funny how things like turn over.
That's what we're talking about. Time's changing.
All right. I got to get my kids to bed and we got to get them fed.
Pick a winner. Pick a winner.
And we got to finish our Summer of Sam. We're watching Summer of Sam documentary.
Oh, yeah. On Netflix.
Okay.
I'm kind of leading you towards one. Just get one.
Everybody go get a Powerball ticket too. The drawing already went by the time this airs.
Oh, wait.
I'm telling everybody go get a Powerball.
It's Wednesday night. We got to watch Big Brother. And then we could be multimillionaires right now.
We're going to manifest
This might be our last podcast ever. Because if we win,
we're out.
I'm shutting my social media down. No more podcasts. All those dreams I talked about, I'm moving to the top of a mountain and never talking to anybody.
Same here. We're out, guys, if we win. I love you and thank you for the support, but we have to end this. Okay. For my part, I know nothing with any certainty, but the sight of the stars makes me dream. And I picked it.
We might be millionaires.
I know.
All right, guys, we got to go check our lotto ticket. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, buy your lotto ticket, even though this is after. Thank you for downloading, subscribing, tagging your friends, all that good stuff. We will see you guys later. Have a wonderful week, and bye.